This is the hardcore community. Sort of. You want to hear the music?
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Marked for Life. My name is Devin, and I'll be bringing you hardcore from across the genre and around the world. And this episode, episode 13, is a very, very special episode because this is a double world premiere. That's right. You are going to be hearing 2 new tracks that you can't hear anywhere else in the world except here on Marked for Life.
It's a movement that has attracted tens of thousands of young people across the country. Its popularity spreading through recordings and amateur magazines, as well as the internet.
Marked for Life is a hardcore radio show done in the tradition of the great 80s and 90s college and community hardcore radio shows that so many of us, including me, grew up listening to. And these radio shows were a way to connect with the hardcore of the moment. And now, as tours are kind of happening and not happening, shows happening, not happening, but more importantly, how we're hearing about so many bands all of the time that it's hard to find which bands we might really like. I have made it the mission of Marked for Life to bring you some of the sickest shit that's coming out all across the genre and the world, and I don't play anything that came out before 2018, because hardcore right now is fucking sick.
Oh yeah.
So every 2 weeks, I bring you 10 fresh tracks and 10 fresh bands, and I also play your requests. If you want to make a request, send a voice note to Marked for Life HC on Instagram. Say your name, where you're from, what song you want to hear, what band, maybe why, whatever you want to say. Shout out your friends, and I will play your voice note and your request on the air. You can also send the voice note to markedforlifehc@gmail.com. And if you haven't followed Marked for Life on Instagram, you should, because that is where I continuously promote all of the bands that you're going to hear on this episode and all of the bands that I've played on all the episodes before. And if you haven't heard the backlog now, which is totally bingeable of Marked for Life episodes, there's something like 150 new and current hardcore bands from all corners of the earth playing seriously mind-blowing, incredible fucking hardcore. As promised on the last episode, there is a new feature on Marked for Life, and this is yet another way to shine a light on all these sick scenes all over the world that we're not hearing that much about, because we're hearing about the Bay Area, we're hearing about LA, we're hearing about New York, we're hearing about Philly, we're hearing about Florida, and we're not hearing about much else, right? So, this is the Scene Report, coming in from Sydney, Australia.
What's up? This is Jeff and Josh from the Forge Ahead podcast and Speed.
We're checking in from Sydney, Australia, where we've just hit our 3rd month of lockdown. But prior to that, Sydney hardcore was popping off. We've been to a bunch of shows this year that have all been crazy. Went to the Histamine 7-inch launch, a little DIY venue called Monster Mouse. Jem, I know you went into a Rapid Die at the Vic.
Yep.
And then we did our 2020 Flex launch for Speed just at the end of June, which was insane. I think it blew all of our expectations.
After having a break for so long from shows, it was been crazy to come back and see some of the best shows we've ever had. But funnily enough, we've found ourselves in lockdown again. I think it looks like we're going to be locked down for almost the rest of the year. But there's still some awesome bands that are coming out from our scene. Some of the sickest ones from Sydney are Primitive Blast, another band called Jokes on You. We've got Concrete Lawn out of Sydney as well, and a whole bunch of others that are starting at the moment. And I think the coolest thing is that there's been a lot of new and old people that have been coming back to shows.
For sure. We're seeing a lot of new people at the moment getting into hardcore in a way that we haven't seen for years. And a lot of people that have maybe sort of lapsed from going to shows really finding their love of hardcore reinvigorated in the last 12 months. So super exciting time in Sydney, I think.
If you want to find out any more about Australian hardcore, it's an exciting time to check it out. So check out the pod, Forge Ahead podcast, or check out the Australian Hardcore playlist by Last Rite Records on Spotify. We've got links on our page to all of that. And I think that what's happening in Sydney, whilst it's super exciting at the moment, is also kind of reflective of the whole scene. The Australian hardcore scene is pretty small in general. And there's a whole lot of shit that's popping up all over the place. Last Rite Records, Life Labor Records, they're all doing great things. So check out the bands from there and check out the page.
Thank you very much.
And thanks so much to Davin from Mark for Life podcast for having us on. She's a legend, and hope you enjoy the episode.
Thank you, Jem and Josh, for that scene report from Sydney. I know a lot of us in the US have recently opened our eyes to how sick the Australian hardcore scene is, as more and more sick bands, like, for example, Speed, are coming out and blowing our fucking minds. And again, everyone, check out Forge Ahead podcast and you'll learn a fucking ton about Australian hardcore. Very cool. All right. I think it's time to kick this shit off. And you are not going to believe the premiere I have for you right now. Coming all the way from 2005 to the year 2021 is Boston's infamous Black My Heart with a previously unreleased track called Step Up. This track was recorded in 2005. It was an unreleased track off their debut LP, Before the Devil, that dropped on Eulogy Recordings, and it's going to be included on a limited vinyl reissue this fall on Triple B. Black My Heart will also be returning to play 2 back-to-back shows on October 8th and 9th in Providence, Rhode Island, with On Broken Wings, Move, and a whole bunch more. I'll be posting that flyer up. As someone who sports a scar under one of my eyes, received in 2005 at a Black My Heart show at the Palladium in Worcester, Massachusetts, I am very happy to present to you the first of 2 premieres, Step Up, Black My Heart.
Step on to the real world and get off the fuck out. Stepping up with the gates and I'll burn them down. Cause when I'm dead, I won't give a fuck. Step on to the real world and get off the fuck out. To die flooded with the poison, like the remedy. Let them live, let them breathe. They'll burn their own. Your grave will down me. Your grave will down me. Across your grave. It's reality across your grave. No salvation. No salvation.
That was Step Up by Black My Heart. And again, you can catch them on October 8th and 9th. Just make sure to protect your orbital bones. Next up is World Premiere number 2. This is a brand new band coming at you out of Hudson Valley, New York. This is Final Rite. You heard a track from them on the One Scene Unity Comp Volume 2 that came out on From Within Records. And now we're going to hear for the first time a song that is going to be on their upcoming EP, In Cold Blood, which is dropping very soon. The song is called The Truth. Final Rite has been going through some member changes, but now with a newly solidified lineup, they are locking in their sound. If you listen to the One Scene Unity Comp episode of Marked for Life, you heard me praise Final Rite for bringing back those Satisfaction is the Death of Desire era riffs from Hatebreed, some of the most beautiful, flawless riffs that exist in hardcore, in my humble opinion. You're going to hear some of that here. You're going to hear kind of a broad 90s influence throughout Final Rite's sound, along with influences from Pantera, Machine Head, and Sepultura. Very excited to hear the rest of this EP, and Final Rite is going to start playing out more and more, so make sure you keep your eyes open and make sure you catch them when you can. Their next show coming up is September 19th on Long Island, and then you can catch them on November 6th in Wilkes-Barre with Shackled. All right, I am already bracing myself for the amount of messages I am going to get from all of you saying how much you love this track. This is Final Rite from the Hudson Valley with the song The Truth.
The truth is hard to see. The truth is what I see. In my mind, I am not afraid. And that's the cry of reality. I see the fear and no eyes. I see you falling under a dark red sky. Wrapped in the cold, no need, no fall. Every day is so let me speak of cycle. Confusion, this is the world. I'm living a life that's just the same. Confusion, this is the world. I'm living a life that's just the same.
What you just heard was Mutant Strain from Charlotte, North Carolina, with the song Pill. Pill is off their Black Lives Matter support release, which you can get on Bandcamp, that came out in June of 2020. But Pill is also on their self-titled full length, which came out in November 2020. Mutant Strain blew my mind. I found out about them when a friend posted a little clip of this sick hardcore punk band, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? Not only do they appear to be an incredible live band, but even as someone who doesn't always love the dooba side of hardcore punk, I have not been able to stop listening to them. They have risen very quickly into my top 5 most listened to bands of the moment. So I was very excited to get to share them with you. And before Mutant Strain was New Jersey's brand new heroes, Never Again, with the track Dead Wrong. Never Again just came out, and Dead Wrong is off their demo, which dropped on August 8th of 2021. Never Again has ex-members of Fence Cutter and current members of Brute, and their demo is already sold out on Rebirth Records. Before Never Again was the premiere of The Truth by Final Rite. And yo, did I hype that up too much? No. That Final Rite track is straight up fire. Wait, is that a phone ringing? Hang on. Hello, Marked for Life, Sick Shit Only. Davin speaking. How can I help you?
Yo, Davin. This is Rico from Los Angeles, and I was calling in to request the song On Failure by the band Foreign Pain. This band's from the LAOC area as well, and this song is the first single they dropped from their upcoming full length, which I believe comes out the first week of September. But yeah, I've been waiting for this band to drop some new material since their demo came out a few years ago, and this song definitely over-delivered. It's so goddamn good, and can't wait to hear the whole thing next month. But yeah, I also want to point out that around the 45-second mark, there's this part where one of the guitars is playing one of those like metalcore alarm clock riffs, and it seriously sounds like a tea kettle that's been sitting on the stove for over an hour just ready to explode. It's so fucking sick. I love it. But anyway, a huge fan of the show, and appreciate you turning me on to so many new bands across the world, and hope you've been well during the pandemic. Later.
You got it, dude. This is Foreign Pain from LA with the song On Failure off their new LP that just dropped September 3rd of 2021 called Death of Divinity.
Stagger on, through the dead world storm.
That was Bent Blue from San Diego with the song Influence Me. And that is off their demo Between Your and Your, which came out on March 13th of 2020, which is a rough time to put out a really good demo, March 13th, 2020. Oof. So I'm happy to see that Bent Blue has maintained momentum and have started playing shows. And they also have a split coming up with Philadelphia's Sunstroke. Bent Blue can appeal to so many different people, but what I really hear here is Lifetime and Paint It Black and that kind of, I don't know, DC influenced faster hardcore punk that's kind of poppy in a way that I don't think I've heard in a long time. And definitely check out the rest of the songs on their demo. It's so good. And next up, very excited to keep it in California. 3 songs in a row. We're going up to the Bay, Oakland, California with the band Provoke. This song is called Prison Strike, and it's off Provoke's EP, Still Here, which came out in May of 2019. And you can pick up that 7-inch on their Bandcamp. There are so many bands that I play here on Marked for Life that talk about really important, really inspiring, really necessary things. And I don't always get a chance to share that with you, but this time we're going to hear directly from Provoke about the next song.
Hey y'all, this is Jenny from Provoke. We're based in Oakland, California, which is occupied Ohlone territory. Prison Strike is the song that echoes the fight that so many folks in this country have had to endure in abolishing the prison industrial complex. It's just a song that talks about how we need to end this system, that its sole purpose is to kill Black lives, to kill Black men, women, children, mothers, fathers, disabled folks, queer folks, or trans folks. And yeah, fire to the prisons. If you want to check out our stuff, we have a Bandcamp, and all merch sales go to mutual aid funds in our community. Thanks.
This is Provoke with Prison Strike.
Let's go! Slavery, frequent supremacy! see, there's a man in my skin, staring back at me. There's a funeral in my brain, walk me left to right, blow me to my grave. I can't get no relief. Tensions rising as we speak. I can't get no relief. I can't eat, and I'm sick. The weight that's all around in my head. Birds of spring and fall disappear. Straight to the end of promise to me. To days, to weeks, to months, to years. I'm glad that no relief. Tensions rising as we speak. I'm glad that no relief. I've got it. I've got sick. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Coming down upon the night. Rolling thunder on the sea skylights. It don't matter what you tell me, it ain't gonna be alright. There's a chill turning in my skull, moving at the bone inside my head. Closer, closer, closer to my brain. I don't think it's strong till I'm dead. I'm drunk and lonely. Tensions rising as we speak. I'm drunk and lonely. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna sleep. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Coming down like bombs in the night. Rolling thunder on the sea skylights. And what, you gonna stand there and tell me it's gonna be alright? Show me.
That was London's Chubby and the Gang with the song Pressure. And that's off their new LP, The Mutts Nuts, that came out on, oh my God, that's so fun to say. The Mutts Nuts. Okay, that came out on August 27th, 2021. And Chubby and the Gang has members of The Chisel and Big Cheese, both of which you've heard here on Marked for Life. And I'm sure heard outside of Marked for Life as well, because they fucking rip. Chubby and the Gang's new LP was produced by the drummer of Fucked Up and came out on Partisan Records. And before Chubby and the Gang, we heard from Unity TX from Dallas, Texas. The track was called Walk With Me, and that is off their EP Hellway that came out in June of 2021 on Pure Noise Records. Unity TX is a band that plays hip-hop, metal, rock, and draws influence from hardcore. They're doing a month-long tour with Varials in October and November. And when I say they draw influence from hip-hop, I'm not saying there's like some flow to the lyrics on these songs. I'm saying that there are songs like what I just played for you, Walk With Me, and then there are tracks that are pure hip-hop. Very unique band. Next up, let's hit the request line.
Suppy! This is Hal from World I Hate out of Milwaukee. Thanks for putting us on the show 2 or 3 shows back. That was really cool. I like to make a song request. Probably my favorite new band come out of the city, a band called Enervate. a song called My Fight. Just came out in a demo they put out last month. It also showed up on the Milwaukee Style Comp, which is a compilation we put together, a bunch of bands from the city to support local venues that were hit kind of hard by COVID, get them back on their feet so we can start having really good shows again. Check that out if you want to help out with that cause. But anyway, here's Enervate with My Fight. Fucking rip it.
Zantac, you have returned from the tiny planet known as Earth. What treasure have you brought me?
We've searched the Earth for intelligent life, my lord.
Your tone of voice reminds me of your prior fruitless searches.
No, my lord. It was different this time. I swear on my mother's tentacles.
Go on.
Earth is a planet filled with trashy products, garbage ideas, and useless beings. But...
Get to the point already.
The only quality item we found was a t-shirt garment item, printed at soaked in ink. Behold.
The resolution of the multicolor image staggers the imagination. Is equal only to the beauty of the cosmos itself. You may go.
Soaked in ink, the best in the galaxy.
Show
Funeral Clown is off their LP, Never Stop the Madness, that came out in May of 2021. And if you like what you heard, you like metallic hardcore, it is an extremely solid LP you should check out. And before Blood Sermon was Boston's Burning Lord with the song Warlock's Revenge. That is off Burning Lord's demo number 1 that dropped on July 23rd, 2021 on Tribe Dream Records. I love that demo so much, and I love this track. I actually get it stuck in my head and find myself walking down the street singing, "The Warlock." Dun, 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 dun. Fucking catchy. Very listenable, very catchy demo. I'll post a video from a show they played in Wilkes-Barre in August, so you can check them out. And if anyone listening is an Ink and Dagger fan, the old band from Philadelphia, the singer's voice reminds me so much of Sean McCabe. It's just a very random, I'm sure it wasn't an influence, it's a coincidence, but it's really cool to hear. And that, my friends, is the show. That's it for Marked for Life number 13. We went extra long on this one. I hope that you stayed to the end because you fucked up if you didn't. Every song on this episode was so good. This is by far my favorite episode in a long time. No disrespect to the past episodes. They're all so good. But each one of the tracks on this episode is something that I cannot stop listening to. It's just on repeat all of the time. Solid requests, solid bands, solid fucking premieres. So I will be back in 2 weeks with 10 more bands and 10 more tracks. And I'm also taking your requests, so send those in. If I get too many requests and I can't play them all, you know what you get? An all request episode. So keep them coming. And thank you as always for listening. Shoot me a message and let me know what bands you liked. It's always really nice to get some feedback. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening. Of course, subscribe if you don't already. And I'm sorry for the delay on this episode. If you do follow Marked for Life on Instagram, Marked for Life HC, you might have seen the video that I posted where I talked to everybody about higher education. If you didn't see that and you are interested in higher education, check it out. but I did just move to a new city and start grad school, and I work full time, and I do this for fun, and I'm buried in boxes and many other things. So juggling all of my many things that I had to do, plus a hurricane, which left me stranded on the streets of New York, totally crazy. I'm fine, but felt like I was living in a movie. Meant that this show got delayed, but it is a priority. Even when my other priorities that I need to live have to wait, I'm always here for the core, as I know you are too. So I will see you in the pit of the future. And thanks as always for listening. Bye-bye.
Here in what is called the pit, tense-looking punks and skinheads circle. The hostility is building.